But okay, so I'm going to tell a story about a friend of mine, which I may have mentioned before. His name is Dylan, and he's from Queensland. And this guy's a total lad, and he'd done Muay Thai for about 4 or 5 years. He looks very average. He's a gardener, you know. And shout out to Dylan. He's got a bunch of tats, but he looks pretty average. Bit of a mullet, you know, just looks like a gardener. This guy cut him off in traffic going up into North Melbourne, and this actually got filmed from a tram, and it went viral. And this guy got out of his car and said, "You bloody cut me off!" And Dylan's like, "Bro,
Dylan cut the guy off."
Well, allegedly, but this guy had stopped in front of him, I think in a Supra or something. He said, "Get out your car," and he was like, "Dude, you don't want this." And he's like, "Get out!" So Dylan gets out, steel cap boots, you know, like cargo shorts, just like
King G's.
Yeah, you know, just a dude wearing a gardening hat.
Scent of manure.
Mate, this guy's tough. He's a lad. He's done crime. He's tough as hell. But he's also a dad, and he's also a gardener. And this guy's like, "Come on." And Dylan just saying, put his hands up like, "Bro, you don't want to do this." He's like, "Come on." And he just leg kicked him. Just hard leg kick. And the guy was like, "Oh," kind of dropped to the ground. "That's not fair. You can't kick." And Dylan's like, what are you talking about? This is a street fight, bro.
Fisticuffs.
Yeah, just
fisticuffs. Yeah.
You know, and
like a gentleman.
Like a real gentleman when you cut someone off in traffic and it's road rage. And the guy said, "Come on, you can." And Dylan's like, "Bro, you don't want this." And the guy's like, "Nah." And Dylan just went like leg kick again, elbow, and just dropped this guy. And the guy's like, "Ah." And Dylan's like, "Bro, you're an idiot. All right, I'll leave you to it." Gets back in the car, drives around him and drives off. But apparently like someone had this on their mobile phone and
awesome.
it went viral on the thing. It was like Gardner beats dude.
Yeah. Bad person gets comeuppance.
You don't know who you're messing with. I think this is the thing when we talk about street self-defense and stuff. It used to be rarer that people did martial arts.
Yeah.
Right? But now, you know, you speak to people, "Oh, yeah, I did that when I was a kid," or, "Yeah, I did that for a couple of years, but I gave it up." I believe there was a time when whether you did kung fu, karate, whatever was the popular martial art of your generation, boxing, whatever, if you had that skill, you had an advantage. I think you have less of an advantage now because way more people train.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And,
yeah.
and at that time, a lot of self-defense was promoted because it was you versus an unskilled attacker.
Yeah.
What happens when your attacker
has skills,
right?
So like say that story about your mate Dylan, which I think we all love those posts on those videos on Instagram where it's someone in the car next door filming and it's someone who can fight.
Yeah.
And they're being antagonized and then they just demolish some quit and you're like, yes. Yeah. And that's
what you get.
I think that's the fantasy is like, that's exactly what I would have done. Or, you know, and it's like, that's self-defense right there or that's street. But that's like the perfect scenario, isn't it?
Of course, one-on-one.
Exactly, one-on-one. You got time, you know, like all of those things. I think about like the situations I've been in growing up, say where I've been attacked.
Sure.
And it was not often like that.
No.
You know, and I think like, well, what do I actually think now would have been some of the best self-defense? I think some of the best self-defense would have been being able to throw like a jab straight and just mess up someone's nose before they've even had a chance to escalate the situation. Like you're in a bar, someone and you just banged, and then it's like, and they're like, "Oh shit," and it's like over.
Yeah.
Right. But I'm like, that's not my jiu-jitsu that does that.
No.
Right. It's like, you don't like, I think the myth with jiu-jitsu, and of course there's many good self-defense qualities in jiu-jitsu, but I'm not going to I don't want to be on my back.
You don't want to be on the ground.
No, I'm not pulling guard on this shit.
No way.
No, so like, but maybe then it's like, well, what kind of game do you play? If you are a real dominant top game player, that's definitely going to carry over better to the streets.
Definitely. But also there's, I guess the counterpoint to that is you didn't pull guard. You got sucker punched and now you're on the ground. Like,
yeah,
you're half KO'd, you're on your back.
But he's not, the person's probably not stepping into my guard. They're stomping my face.
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, maybe I throw up an entanglement, single leg X. Hey, take a pick.
Just invert to the heel.
Chat, bro. I got the bite.
No, because I've done self-defense seminars. I did a self-defense seminar with Steve Maxwell. It was really good. And he talked a lot about where they would have their gun because he's military trained.
Yeah.
He was talking about why you would get the underhook on a certain side because maybe that's where they have their gun or where do they have their knife. It was really interesting. He talked about the technical stand-up and how that's so important to make distance if you fall into the ground. How when you step up, you kind of step away to make space to exit the situation. All this kind of stuff. Jocko has talked about how he feels jiu-jitsu is the best because he's like, if you want to punch me, I can run away. You need to grab.
Yeah.
He's like, if you want to keep me in the situation, then you have to find a way to keep me there.
Kind of I don't know. I've never been in a war zone. I've never been in the military, but I'm guessing too, like hand-to-hand combat in an actual battle zone, it's either at a distance with weapons or it becomes close quarters. And once it's close quarters, it is like, I want to stay attached to you because I don't want you grabbing weapons, right?
Yeah.
Where it's not like that maybe on the streets where there's space.
And
yeah.